I call Chris Bishop.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. This is a sensible bill, but I do want to take issue with a couple of the comments from Mr O'Rourke then. Actually, the amount of alcohol being consumed in New Zealand is actually at record lows. So it's quite differently to what Mr O'Rourke just said then, which is that alcohol consumption is on the rise. The truth is the exact opposite. In fact, interestingly, I point out to the House, Mr Speaker, that youth drinking is at record lows. The number of young people who say in the various surveys, and the best evidence we have through the Ministry of Health surveys, that they binge drink on a regular basis, that they consume more alcohol than necessary, that they drive, as my good colleague Amy Adams points out, that they drink and then drive. Those numbers are at record lows. And actually, it behooves the member to continue to perpetuate the myth, which is too often said in this House, that we have some radical drinking problem in New Zealand society that is not getting better, because actually the truth is the opposite. So I do just want to take issue with those remarks from Mr O'Rourke. This is a sensible bill, as I think all the speakers so far in the debate have noted, and there are a couple of changes, but the most substantive change, if you could call it a substantive change, is to allow low alcohol and no alcohol beers to be put into the single area, so the area of the supermarkets where other beer and wine and other alcoholic drinks are put. Now, we had a bit of a debate at Select Committee about whether or not this should be compulsory or whether or not it should be discretionary. And what I mean by that is, should we give the supermarkets the discretion to place these sort of products in the single area, which they're not allowed to do at the moment, or should we give them the ability to place them in the area where they are at the moment, which is with the fruit juice, typically with fruit juice and other areas, or should we make it compulsory and say, no, if you're going to have these products, you must market them in the single area. And we had a genuinely pretty good debate about that at Select Committee, and I think there are arguments either way. Where we eventually came down to was on the basis of discretion, and there are actually a few good reasons for that. So there are, interestingly, products that have a low alcohol content, things like Hardy Boys ginger beer, great product from the mighty Hutt Valley, brewed out in Wainuiamata, and there are fermented soft drinks, things like kombucha, which is really increasing in popularity, sir, which do have some degree of alcohol in them, and you would want not marketed in the single area. You would want them, because they are substitutes to fruit juice and other non-alcoholic products. But there are, of course, non-alcoholic beers, sir, which you would want in the single area, because they are substitutes with alcoholic beer, sir. And so we decided as a committee to stick with the discretionary formula, and I think that met with the approval of I think most of the submitters, the very small number of submitters, or very few submitters we had before the Select Committee. So this is a sensible bill. I think it's going to make its way through the House. I don't want you to take up any more of the House's time. Commend this bill to the House.
Thomas Sepaloni.